Legion, and welcome to my channel. My name is Ludi, and today we'll be doing our EU4 1.30 starting moves guide for the Oirat. This guide will include the achievements you can get as the Oirats, the estates and economy, diplomacy and war preparations, war with Chagatai, as well as the first and second wars with the Ming, and your missions and ideas. Before we start the video, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, commented, and subscribed, as well as leave the bell button on. YouTube is telling me that only around 21% of my viewers have subscribed, so if you do enjoy my content, consider subscribing. It would really help me out so much. If we can get this video to 750 likes, then I'm gonna do a giveaway for an EU4 DLC or for the base game if you don't have it. Some achievements that are quite particular to either the Oirat or just hordes in general are back in control, which you need to form Yuan and hold all of the Chinese lands. The second would be I'll graze my horse here and here, where as a horde you need to have 200 provinces producing grain. The third is Pyramid of Skulls, where as a steppe horde raise a province with at least 30 development. And last is Turning the Tide, where as a steppe horde starting in 1444 you have to embrace all institutions by the end. When discussing the estates, the Oirats are going to be a bit different from the rest. We're just going to seize land, and we're going to give the greater autonomy for chieftains and larger tribal hosts. The reason we're not going to summon the Diet just yet is because usually you get the same mission, which is to ally Caradel or ally somebody around you, which you should not be allying. Instead, you should be eating them up. So after the 11th of December, which is when we're going to declare war on a lot of our neighbors, that's when we're going to summon the Diet once we are at war with them. When discussing trade, you actually are in one of the richest trade nodes in Northern Asia, namely the Yuan trade node, and you're transferring trade from the Xi'an trade area, which is also super good. Keep the merchant that's transferring trade from here, but the merchant in Siberia who is collecting trade, once we have our initial expansion path and we actually can reach the Beijing trade node, we're going to start collecting in Beijing instead of Siberia. Another really important thing that will boost our economy is the early gold mine that is right next to us in Kucha. We want to get this as soon as possible, so as such our first war is going to be against Chagatai. When it comes to rivals, the Oirats are always rivaled by Uzbek and Chagatai, and you should return the favor as these are your only options to rival. When looking for allies, you will always have the options of allying Caradel and Sarig Yogir. However, I don't recommend going for either of these as we want to eat them up. Same for the Manchurian tribes. Do not ally everybody as you want to make your way into Manchuria quite early in the game. What I do recommend, however, is that you start improving relations with the Timurids and with Mongolia, which at the start of the game is your vassal. They are a slight bit disloyal, but if need be, you can placate local rulers. That's going to give you minus 10 liberty desire, but this is not required. If you simply improve relations with them and you call them in your first war, they will start being loyal afterwards. The Oirats do not start as a tributary of Ming, but the Emperor of Ming will want to attack the Oirats to make them a tributary. Horchin is also not a tributary of Ming and will suffer from the same fate, so you also have the option of allying Horchin and fighting Ming together. However, I recommend attacking Chagatai first and taking over the Chagatai lands as well as Yarkand, which will boost your economy considerably, and you can still finish this war within a couple of years. Afterwards, you can focus on the Emperor himself. Having the gold mine in Kucha very early on is going to make a huge difference, since you start off with 50% institution tech penalty, so you will not be advised to improve diplo technology. Instead, whenever you get extra diplo points, it's best to just dump them into this gold mine here. So in order to get ready for the war, we're going to bring our troops to Altai as well as the other army to Hoboksar, and we're going to recruit a mercenary company. Of course, it's obviously going to be the Free Company, which is mainly just infantry, and as such we're gonna position them by the border to help us out with sieging down most of the Chagatai forts. Remember to take the yellow shamanism and the rite of passage decisions before you do attack Chagatai. In fact, before the first month even passes. And when it comes to your religion, do not choose any syncretic faith, as you want to keep the cavalry to infantry ratio plus 25% and regiment cost minus 20%. When attacking Chagatai, make sure you ask for the tribal feud CB rather than the reconquest CB, as this is gonna give you 75% aggressive expansion for taking all of their provinces. Also make sure that you put one of the closest provinces to you as the war goal so you can get a ticking war score early on. And you should be aware that Chagatai sometimes allies the Uzbek. If that happens, it's up to you. You can can still win the war, but depending on how badly you want to have an easy game, you can just restart, and like it's a 50-50 chance that they're gonna be rivals. So we're gonna declare war with Bech Balik as our war target, and we're gonna attack. Make sure you put your commander, who is also your king, as the leader of the army. He also has an awesome plus 10 movement speed bonus, and we're gonna send our mercenary army to Bech Balik, whilst our other army is gonna come in close, and we're gonna try to pincer out the Chagatai troops. Even though they might have more troops than you should still win this, as you have way more cavalry and your troops have better quality, as well as you have awesome military ideas at the very start, where you start off with plus 20% cavalry combat ability, and of course the really good core creation cost minus 20%. Make sure you assign the mercenary company to siege down their capital fort in Urumqi, and keep your main army on the lookout, as the troops of Yarkand are going to be around as well. Your biggest issue in the war is going to be the siege of Kashgar. If you really are struggling with it, then you can go for a military commander, and hopefully you can get a siege pip in him. Do ensure that you keep your mercenary army sieging this down. It is a level 3 fort, as it is a capital with a level 2 fort, so try and make it a priority, as it is a bit harder sieging it down, whilst with your main army chase down the remainder of the Yarkand and Chagatai armies. If you can divide them and kill them off one by one, that is even better. You don't really need to kill off their army, it is really up to you. If you can take the fort here, you can just piece them out simply by taking a lot of their provinces and the 2 main capital forts that they have. In the peace treaty, I recommend that you split up the Chagatai in 2. Basically take the northern parts here that will disconnect their lands, so basically they will not be able to get from this area to this area, and then in the south make your way to the gold mine in Kucha, as well as take the province of Karkan, which is going to give you a border with Sagir Yogir. And don't worry about the coalition, it is literally just Chagatai in the coalition, so it is not a big deal. After you've taken the provinces, make sure that you raise all the newly added provinces except the one province of Kucha, which is a gold mine, and you want to keep it as high as possible, especially the production screen. After we've raised everything, we can start coring everything, and it's going to cost us considerably less than it would have otherwise. Around the time that you finish the war with the Chagatai, and you should finish it as soon as possible, and as such remember to focus the fort in Kashgar to end the war faster. After the war with Chagatai, you should have a few more extra alliance options, and I recommend going for Cham if it is available, as well as the 2 Oirat horde nations here. Boom, let's get these allies in here, and we're gonna deny the Ming after we've secured a few allies. Do this a few times, and this is gonna anger them, and they will eventually declare war on you. You have 2 options. Either you wait for Ming to declare war on you, and 99% of the times they do declare war on you, and if that happens, then you'll have all of these allies to rely on whenever they attack you. If you don't want to rely on your allies and you just want to do it manually, then you can yourself declare war on Ming, and you make sure that you take the Mandate of Heaven as your CB. Before you make your decision, make sure that you get either a Morale of Armies or Discipline guy, whichever is available to you. And around this time you should have some extra money, so if you can, get some other advisors as well. Adding these extra provinces means that the Mongolians are going to start being loyal and get a royal marriage with them, which will help you out since it lowers the Liberty Desire by 5% as well. If the Ming declare on you, then you basically have all of your alliances, and I recommend getting a lot of them, since if they ask you to become their tributary, it means that they will eventually declare on you. So make sure you get your troops close in together, and we're gonna have to wait for their event to trigger, which is gonna make their emperor a general in the army. Now what we want to do then is we want to look for that general, and we want to destroy that army so that we can capture that general. And we found him. This is the one we're looking for. It's namely Chijhenju, and half his army is attacking Cham, whilst the other half is attacking Korchin. So we just need to focus on his army here in Cham. The entire war with Ming depends on you capturing this one Chijhenju guy, so make sure that you make it your paramount task that you do capture him. Once you have won a battle against him, you're gonna get the capture of the Ming Emperor, which is gonna give you until the death of your own leader, 20% choros, plus 20% morale of armies, and plus 25% siege ability. This can also be negated once the Chinese choose a new emperor, however. After this event triggers, I know what other people say, but I still recommend going for Beijing first, as their armies are going to be busy sieging down either your land, or if you are smart about it and you let your allies join in, then they're going to siege down your allies' lands. After you've captured Beijing, you're going to get an event which is the capture of Beijing. That's going to give you actual control over all of the northern parts of Ming. This means that you have even the forts under your control now. It is also going to get you the first mission from your mission tree, the Tumu Crisis, which is the name of the event as well. That will give you 25 Horde Unity and 20 Army Tradition. It is up to you if you want to take it now, if you want to take it later, and by taking it later, you can fix some of your Horde Unity, which will go down. Owning all of northern China, it's going to be an easy ride. We either just have to wait for the war score, or we can just go around wiping out the Ming armies, seeing as our smaller army is going to have a super easy time just stack wiping everybody left, right, and center. We got a stack wipe here, another stack wipe here. Eventually, the Ming will split up their army so they can carpet siege the provinces that you've taken. Use this to your advantage and just completely wipe them out one by one. Even armies that are double your size will be destroyed quite easily by your superior forces. After you've stack wiped enough of Ming's armies, they're going to give you a 100% war score. Even if though it doesn't say here, it's still going to be okay. They're going to agree to it. So go ahead and take Zhangye as well as the 3 provinces to the south which are Mongolian. Take them directly. Don't give them to Mongolia, as this is a defensive war and giving them to Mongolia would be more expensive even though it's their cores. Also, it's vital they take Xuanhua, Beijing, and Yongping as well as all of their money and peace them out. You get a coalition of Ming and Chagatai, which we don't need to worry about simply because we have a truce with them. Getting all that sweet dough means that we can embrace feudalism, and as such we can get our first tech here. We got military tech 4. Also make sure to raise Beijing and all of the newly added provinces. This is going to give you a lot of military and mana diplo points as well as loot, which right now is actually not given in the 1.303 patch, but in the 1.304 patch it is going to give you the loot. After the war, the Chinese are going to have 0 mandate because, well, the country is devastated and you've also taken Beijing and many other reasons. So it is slowly going to start crumbling unto itself. Make sure to dissolve the alliance that we had with the smaller nations in this area. If you did take Sadeg Yogir, just break it off. After your first war against Ming, they are definitely going to warn you. So you can attack anybody around you and Ming will join the war. Thus, you can bypass the truce that you have with them. Another thing that you could do is simply attack one of their tributaries that you border and that you don't have a truce with. In my case, I'm going to attack Korchin, which peaced out early in the war, so attacking my former ally with style. You still have the morale bonuses and the siege ability, so in the second war against the Ming, it is enough to just take over their capital, wipe out their armies again, and take a few provinces. And you don't want to go for 100% war score, just go for 25%. Just take as much money as you can from them so that your truce can expire quickly by 1463, as we want to attack them with the Mandate of Heaven CB the 3rd time. Peace them out, and now we have a lot of money whilst the Ming are basically out of money completely and definitely on their way towards collapsing. Don't forget to also peace out whoever you were attacking previously in order to get to Ming and raise all of the provinces. Of course, afterwards, core up everything. Around this time, you should also start integrating the Mongolians. After your second war with Ming, you should attack Chagatai whilst waiting to integrate the Mongolians. And once you finish integrating them, you're going to get your first mission, which is claim the Khanate. And if you have 5 provinces owned of each of the 4 Mongolian cultures, then you're going to get the second mission, which is going to give you permanent claims on Central Asia, North China, as well as Tibet. And you're going to get a special event that gives you Mongolian as the new primary culture, and all of the provinces that have the 4 Mongolian cultures will change to Mongolian. Alternatively, you could get the reorganization of the Mongol tribes that gives you +3 max promoted cultures until the end of the game. So it really is up to you. If you're going for a world conquest, I would say the second one is probably better, since you can use the max promoted cultures after you've become an empire and you already have all your culture group accepted. But if you're going for a more chill game, then you can simply make all of these cultures cultures Mongolian, and there you go, there is just one big Mongolian empire to speak of. Don't forget to enact the Tumu crisis whenever you're low on horde stability, and after we've taken more provinces from the Chinese, we can enact the reformed Great Yuan. It's about the same time that you can actually form the Great Yuan. And if you want to go into the Tibetan area, once you have 10 provinces there, you're going to get an awesome event as well. The Oirat mission tree takes you all the way towards the subjugation and conquest of China, the steppes, India, the Ilkhanate area, which is basically the Timurids, as well as even Syria and Anatolia, with eventually the Pax Mongolica that needs you to own pretty much all the historical Mongolian lands. And we'll give you until the end of the game national unrest -3 and stability cost modifier -15%. When it comes to ideas, if you're going for a world conquest, I recommend going for diplomatic ideas as your first idea slot, as it gives you 2 extra diplomats, diplo relations, and diplo reputation, as well as the awesome province war score cost -20%. Thus it's going to be a lot easier for you to take provinces and peace deals. Seeing as you're going to be dealing with a lot of different religions and a lot of different cultures, humanist ideas are also amazing for a world conquest. But if you're not really going for a world conquest and you just want to have an awesome Mongolian empire, then you should go for humanist, simply because you will have a lot of different religions. And if you want to stack the core creation that you start off with, which gives you -20% core creation, you should get admin ideas for the -25 core creation. And for military ideas, aristocratic gives you an awesome cav combat ability +10% and cav cost -10, as well as extra diplomats and leaders without upkeep. And mixed in with humanist ideas, it gives you +20% religious unity and production efficiency, so definitely is worth it. And if you mix it with diplomatic ideas, it gives you 1 more diplomat, so altogether you can get 5 extra diplomats from merging these 2 ideas. In a world conquest situation, this is ideal, as you want to have as many diplomats as possible. Quantity as well is quite good for any horde really, since it's going to increase the amount of manpower and troops that you have, which you will need for sure, as you're going to have plentiful wars. Once you have access to the sea, you could also get exploration as your 4th idea, or even 3rd idea if you're rushing it, and you can start colonizing this area here, get into the Malacca trade node, or even the New World if you're into that kind of thing, as well as you can cut off the Russians from marching into Siberia. Although in an ideal world, you want to destroy the Russians before they even get a chance to form Russia. You're also going to be very far from wherever the Renaissance is going to spawn, so I recommend getting one of the farmlands provinces and encouraging development and spawning in the Renaissance into this province. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like these in the future, as well as leave the bell button on. I also want to thank my patrons. If you'd like to become one of my patrons, then check the link in the description. And until the next one, have a great day.